My name's Lorraine DORMAND. I work at the Robert Ogden School. It's run by the National Autistic Society in England. Inclusion is very important in the British system. We want children with autism to be fully participating members of our society. The government is doing a lot to try and give parents and to give children a real voice so that we are giving them the best opportunities and the best start in life. They now have, they've introduced a document that's called an education healthcare plan, and that enables all of the professionals and the families working with the child. They've introduced a document called the Education Healthcare Plan, and that allows all of the professionals working with the child and the family and the child themselves to have a say and to have a voice, so that the things that are really important are written in that document, and that gives the child the right to the services that they require. It's been very interesting for me to see a different system and to see the way that another country is working with these very complex young people. I've been very surprised by the amount of consistency that there is within the countries, and the people that I've spoken to are very knowledgeable and speak very professionally and with a deal of passion about the children that they're working with. I think the challenge in Russia is the fact that it's such a big country, and getting consistency across the country is always going to be difficult. But there seems to be a lot of energy and drive to achieve that. I'm very hopeful that over the coming years that Russia and Great Britain will be able to work closely together to be able to establish a real international protocol and a way forward for these young people. Within the UK, we're very keen to make sure that all of the interventions and the ways that we're working are done from a scientific and an evidence-based foundation. And it's very clear that within Russia, that evidence base and that scientific detailed research is equally important. And I've been able to see, certainly at the university, the way that people are working, the level of research and the information that's being made available through the website and through the journals in particular to a very wide range of people. Within the centre today, I've been really quite excited by the layout of the school and of the centre and the care that has been taken in terms of making sure that the environment is right for those young people that are here. Even down to the decoration and the acoustics and the way that works. For the conference in general, it's been really interesting for me to have the opportunity to talk to colleagues from Germany, to talk to psychologists based in Great Britain, and to see the work that some people from Sweden have been doing. It's very interesting to see the similarities and where on occasions the approach diverts. Generally, the diversion is due to resources or maybe slight differences in opinion. But I've been very, very inspired by the fact that everybody seems to have fundamentally the same approach. We all recognise that people with autism have a right to be fully accepted in our society, and we're all working very hard towards that main goal. I've had a limited chance to have a look around. I've been very impressed with the knowledge base that the staff at the centre definitely have. I'm very impressed with the organisation within the class groups. For me, it's very important that things are tidy. There is an uncluttered environment in areas where children with autism are being taught, because any clutter or mess can be very distracting. I think that the rooms are laid out in a very particular way, and I think that is very, very well thought through. I felt the contrast between my own, the school that I work in and here was quite stark, in that our school has a much bigger footprint and our rooms are much bigger. But talking to the staff, it's very apparent that the space that is available within the classrooms are used incredibly well. But there are lots of evidence in terms of autism-specific interventions and the way that the walls are used, the visual schedules, and that visual information made clear. And it's always heartening in any centre to be able to see a difference as you walk from room to room, which evidences the fact that people have really taken into account the needs of the young people that are going to be in that area. Yeah. In England, we often say that maybe 70% of the problem that children with autism have are caused by neurotypical people and the people around them. I think one of the great barriers to real inclusion is making sure that the general population has the understanding of the tiny little things that they can do every day to make people with autism's life better. Giving processing time, and people who are opening centres or opening shops or hairdressers or running colleges or universities, taking into account the needs of people with autism within that environment. We've got lots of people with autism who live perfectly normal lives, but just tiny adaptations in the environment or in the way that people work with them or talk to them can make a big difference. And I think it's really important that we work with international partners in terms of that campaigning and making sure that the information goes out to the general population and not just people who are working hands-on with people with autism on a daily basis. Many years ago I trained as a teacher, and I did a teaching practice. I spent some time in an ordinary school and I was bored and I decided that I didn't want to teach, and so I walked away from teaching and tried to get a job in a jewellery shop. But because I had a teaching qualification, they wouldn't let me do that. And so I went and spent some time as a teaching assistant in a school for children with autism. And I fell in love with autism, and I fell in love again with teaching, and I realised then that teaching was what I wanted to do, but not in a mainstream environment. I wanted to teach these children. And throughout my career I've moved from being a teaching assistant to a teacher to doing some advisory and consultancy work, and now principal of quite a large school for children with autism. So through all of those changes, it's presented me with different challenges and kept me excited and inspired and wanting to do my very best for children and young people with autism.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.